So this week's going to be a special musical week. Not really, that's all I've got. Hello and welcome back to Coffee and Film, and this is the second episode of the trailer show. Now, I was hit with a slight curveball this week, as it turns out that the film industry found out that I would love to do a trailer show and give you lots of detail on trailers, and decided to release the entirety of all the trailers at once. So there were 8 trailers that came out this week. So what I've decided to do is I've gone through all of them and I've watched them and I've instead ranked them, and we're going to make a lovely list. So here we are, the 8 trailers that came out last week, ranked from worst to best. Hope you enjoy it. Kicking off number 8, Hubie Halloween. No. These are all in the script. No. I mean, the mind boggles with Adam Sandler slightly, because there was a time where he only released terrible movies. Now he seems to be releasing terrible movies and a really great one, just to throw us off guard like Uncut Gems. So it makes it all the more painful when he returns back to an awful movie. This, another of his Netflix deals, just looks terrible. Terrible. I mean, there's even live footage you can spot of me watching the trailer. Look, I'll show you now. I hate everything about this. Yeah, I loved it that much. I mean, he starts off with the speech impediment, and we know exactly where this is going. He's the outsider that's going to win our hearts. And of course, it's got Kevin James in it, and he's got a mullet now. Because of course that makes him hilarious. We've finally solved it. Give him a mullet, and everything will be all right. Yes, so this has everything you'd expect from Adam Sandler movies. It has crude humour, toilet jokes, it has physical humour, all of which didn't raise a chuckle and made me look on, ironically, in horror. I really think this could be the most terrifying thing to come out this Halloween. At number 7, we've got A Rainy Day in New York. Oh, Timothée Chalamet, what a week it's been for you. From Dune to A Rainy Day in New York. I've got to say, I wasn't a fan of this trailer very much. How to describe it? It was like having dinner with one of the sandworms from Dune. I got nothing out of it. I mean, it was one of those ones where just you can hear the music in the background. It's one of those ones where the musician's just too afraid to rest on a beat, because it's just like, oh, we must keep everybody moving. We can't stop for 2 seconds. Everything's light, everything's gentle. Oh, I just didn't like it. And then you've got 2 characters in the middle that we're meant to care about, I assume. And all you do is you sit there being incredibly frustrated by all of their decisions. You sit there going, why would you do that? That's just annoying. No, that's going to annoy them even more. Why would you do what? And throughout all of this, you've got that light and airy music as they get themselves deeper and deeper into trouble, into situations that actually are really, really terrible. You've got this light and airy music that goes, don't worry, it's all light and airy, it'll be fine in the end. Don't worry, it's light and airy music. Don't worry. I guarantee if someone edits this and puts like a thriller soundtrack on it, it takes a completely different turn and these characters look completely different. No, not for me. At number 6, we got Love and Monsters. Well, that was bizarre. I mean, I was watching it and I just thought, oh, this is going to be a serious sort of flick, even though it's going to have serious finding his love. And I watch it and all of a sudden it turns into some sort of buddy comedy flick. I mean, where on earth? Tonal shift doesn't cut it from the start. This was continental shift. This was from Pangea to now. That's the shift I felt. I mean, watching it just felt weird. I mean, I was watching it felt like it was the love child between Zombieland and Guardians of the Galaxy. Now, those are 2 amazing films. But they're amazing. That's the point. This is the sort of thing that if you don't pull it off, if it doesn't go well, this is not just a facepalm moment. This is a full knuckle duster to the nether regions moment. If you don't pull this off, it will be awful. I didn't get any massively good vibes in the trailer, but I didn't get any massively negative ones apart from high noises today, isn't there? And number 5, The Place of No Words. The Place of No Words, not to be confused with the National Dyslexic Centre, was very interesting to watch, whereas Love and Monsters was bizarre. At least this sort of captured my imagination a bit, imagination being the key word, because it seems to be told entirely through the children's imagination, which is quite an interesting take, but it did lead to some bizarre things. I mean, I didn't quite understand some of the special effects, looked a bit strange, and also there was a moment where 2 monsters showed up, and they looked like a weird combination between the spitting image puppets and students on a way to a fancy dress party. I mean, I found it very hard to take that seriously. And also there was the line at the end of, "Where do we go when we die?" which was about as subtle as a freight train going through a brick wall into another brick wall made of harder bricks. I think I got away with that. At number 4, we have The Nest. Being locked in an old English manor house with Jude Law is usually preceded by the phrase, "I had the weirdest dream." Yes, Jude Law and Carrie Coon are locked in an English manor house with some incredibly violent horses, which I can only assume is how the most of Surrey spent lockdown. Yes, I mean, I did like the trailer. The tension is palpable. You can really feel the pressure on you, although it does feel like it's trying a little bit too hard, which is why it's not further up the list. I mean, there are moments where it's just like there's too much of the "everything's going to be fine, everything's going to be fine." No, Jude, it's not. How do you know? Well, we've watched movies before. We know this. Everything is not fine. Stop repeating it. But everything was deliberately paced, it looked incredibly well acted. It looks like it could be a perfectly serviceable thriller, which is why it features fairly high on the list. I'm still going to put quite a bit of money that Jude Law or a character is going to get killed by a horse. What a way to go. I wouldn't say nay to that. I'll go now. The Trial of the Chicago 7 is at number 3, not 7. So The Trial of Chicago 7 is the story of the men who were tried back in Chicago for something to do with the anti-Vietnam protests. I don't know anything about the history. I'm not going to go into it because I wouldn't do it justice. In terms of the trailer itself, now we're talking. Ooh, what a trailer. That did get me excited. I mean, it's our second ensemble film on the list, with the first being A Meh Day in New York. And in A Meh Day in New York, you spend the whole time going, "Oh, who's that? I've seen him before. Where do I know that person from? Oh, so the cast." Whereas this trailer, you're going, "Oh my God, this looks great. This looks incredible. Why can't I let go of my seat?" And number 2, Synchronic. The only thing harder than watching the Synchronic trailer is spelling it. Yes, it's not an easy watch, but it's great. It's really fab. I really enjoyed it. There's a tiny little criticism that I'll say at the start, which is purely that my criticism of Dune was that it felt a little bit worthy. This is the same. It does feel like it's quite out there and quite sort of high and expects you to keep up, but that's not necessarily a massive issue. I mean, it's got Anthony Mackie in it, who I love and is brilliant, and I think just everything the sci-fi-ness just really spoke to me. Not literally, because that would really then be sci-fi, but it kind of felt like a sort of non-Hollywoody Limitless sort of had all that crazy science stuff behind it, which actually made no sense whatsoever, but was quite cool. I feel like this is just going to push it beyond the next step and create something really interesting and great to watch. I'm really excited by this actually, and it's at number 2 purely because the Top Spot one I just thought was so great, but this is a fantastic trailer. Please check it out if you get a chance. And at number 1, The Father. I tried to write something funny to start this bit, or write something just sort of a little bit humorous, and I really couldn't, because I was just thinking so much about this trailer. It was just sort of sitting with me so much. I think the trailer is fantastic because it's such a mystery, and it's such a human mystery. There's a real human element behind it. Now, on top of that, you throw in great actors. You've got it. You've got an absolutely amazing trailer. I have no idea where this is going, but I think it really might speak specifically to me. I might be being biased. Sod it, it's my list. But it really felt like this is something that's really I love it when something takes a real deep dive into a character, which this really could do, and also from separate angles if you look at it, because it's got different characters' perspective on the same character, which I think is really cool, really interesting. And I also think there's something about the older generation, films directed at the older generation, that is very universal. Aging is something we all do, and therefore this is something that I really think could appeal to a lot of people who've either been in this situation or know it's kind of all foreshadowing. So it may be slightly more sci-fi than it's letting on, but I don't think that's the case, and I think that would kind of ruin it if it is. But as the trailer stands, the trailer is fab, and I really enjoyed it. Really feels kind of wrong putting this on the list with an Adam Sandler movie. Anyway, this is definitely a film that's going to stay with me for a long time. That really wasn't the right phrase to use. And there you go, that's my view on the trailers that have come out this week. Please check out the good ones and even check out the bad ones if you think I'm wrong. And if you liked this video, please drop us a like and subscribe to the channel and watch all of our other lovely videos. In the meantime, I'll be back with you soon with more trailers. Thanks so much for watching, stay safe and well. I'll see you again soon. Cheers. I just want it to end. Please. It's buffering. I'm in hell.